Hello everybody, Chris here, and in this video I want to show all of you how you can slow down video clips inside of DaVinci Resolve 17 if you're trying to create something like a slow-mo effect. So here in the timeline we have a clip of a drippy faucet. When the water drips fall off of the faucet, it happens pretty quickly. So we could go ahead and slow down the video when that action happens so that we can see it in a little bit more detail. So if you just want to apply a slow-mo effect to an entire video clip, then you can go to the inspector in the top right hand corner. You can scroll down to where you'll find speed change. And then the setting you're going to want to adjust is the speed percent. So the speed percent is compared to the original speed of the video clip. How fast do you want it to go? So if you put 200%, that is double 100%. So that means 2x speed going twice as fast. So if you want to achieve the reverse, slowing it down, then you would want to probably put it at something like 50% for half speed. So two settings we might want to keep in mind here, though, is ripple sequence and pitch correction. If you have ripple sequence checked, then when you increase or decrease the speed on the video clip, obviously if you have it in half the speed, it's going to take twice as long to play the entire video clip. So having ripple sequence enabled is going to allow the video clip to stretch itself in the timeline to basically adjust to the new duration of all of the frames that you were showing. Since if you put it at 200% speed, it should take half as long, and therefore having ripple sequence checked when you do put it at 200% speed is going to make it go over here to the left. So a couple settings that you probably want to take note of when you're going to slow down your video clip is ripple sequence, which is basically going to mean that when you slow down your video clip by half, it would take double the duration in order to play back the entire video clip since it's going at half speed. And having ripple sequence enabled is going to mean you can take this video clip and it will automatically expand itself to fit the timeline where it can play back the full duration of the clip. So without ripple sequence checked, the clip in the timeline is going to maintain the same start and stop times, which means that half of the video clip might just not show. So let's have ripple sequence unchecked. I put it at 50%. So the duration of what's playing in the timeline is still at 18 seconds, but obviously if you have it playing back at half speed, it's only going to be able to play half of that duration. So if we hit Control Z and we go to ripple sequence, having that checked, and then we make the speed 50%, well now it's going to be able to double that timeline duration automatically and play back the entire video clip that we were showing in the timeline. So that's going to be an important option if you want to make sure that you're not changing what shows in the timeline, just the duration that it shows for. And then the other option here is pitch correction. So you may or may not want this checked. If you really want to go for that slow-mo effect where all of the voices deepen down, or maybe you have a flock of birds and normally they sound very high pitched, but then you put it at half speed and so all of those birds squeaking, it deepens. Or the same thing would happen with spoken dialogue, then you may uncheck pitch correction. But if you want the voices to sound a bit more like their original form, then you would keep pitch correction there, because the pitch correction is going to take the slow-mo clip and then adjust the pitch after the slow-mo to make it sound more like the original. So that's just going to depend on whether you want it to sound like a slow-mo when you actually do the slow-mo, and if so, you can uncheck pitch correction. Okay, so we have our clip playing back at half speed. So if I go hit play, we'll see that's very obvious. It takes a lot longer for this water drop to actually drip down. Now with slow-mo in Resolve, you can't double the number of existing frames. So as you slow down too far beyond the original clip, you'll just notice that as you go frame by frame that there's going to be a big gap between where the drop is positioned in each one, especially if you made it quarter speed. So the fact that you can't increase the number of frames means that you're going to get a little bit of a choppy animation as you go frame by frame here, looking at it, trying to watch the water drop go down, is one of the reasons why slow-mo cameras exist, where you can capture many, many frames per second so that when you actually have it going in slow-mo, you still have something like 720 frames per second to work from. So even if you do slow it down, it's still going to look very fluid. So now another thing we can show is, what if you just want to slow down part of the video clip for that one specific time slot? Well, let's go ahead and revert all of the speed changes on this video clip. Let's find that part that we actually want to slow down. So in this case, that would be pretty much when the water drop is about to start falling. So I'm going to hit B to go into blade edit mode. I'm going to left click on the timeline right there. So let's go ahead and find when that drop exits the frame. I'm going to hit spacebar, go to play mode, and just watch it for a second. And I'll hit left right arrows to basically get to the exact frame, going frame by frame. And I'll cut right here. So now we can make this left and right part play back at normal speed, but then in this in-between clip, we're going to slow it down. So I'm going to take the speed here, put it to 50%, making sure that ripple sequence is checked so that we end up with the same number of frames being played the entire duration of this selected video clip, but it just stretches itself in the timeline and ripples what it needs to over to the right. So if I hit tab here, you can see everything over here gets pushed, which is what we want. We doubled the duration in the timeline because we're playing half of the frames per second. So now we can go here to before the slow-mo hit play, and we can watch the water drop fall down much slower. And we could go further than that. So we could just make this 25% if we want. Go before here, hit play. Maybe we even want the speed change to increment in steps. So we could say right here, we'll also add in another speed change. So I'm gonna blade edit mode, make a cut, and let's make this part 50%, making sure that ripple sequence is checked. So now we're going to go from 100% speed to 50% speed to 25% speed, and then back up to 100% speed. Another common alternative would be to play the clip at normal speed first, and then replay it at the slowed down speed. So I can use B to go to blade edit mode right about here, where this other drop of water is dripping down. I'm going to slice it right there. And now this clip, I'm going to find where the water drop ends, right about there. I'm going to hit B. So now that we have this clip of the water drop, I'm going to copy it with Control C. And then I want to insert it where the timeline cursor is, but in a way where the clip in front of it gets pushed to the right. So instead of hitting Control V for just a normal paste, I'm going to do Control Shift V for a paste insert. So you can see how the clip in front of it gets pushed to the right. That's what we're looking for. So now we have the 100% playback speed right here. Let's take the clip right to the right of it, which is the same clip, and let's slow it down to, let's say 50%. And then let's see, ripple sequence, pitch correction. Maybe we don't want pitch correction checked. Once again, if you want the sounds to be deeper with the slow-mo, then you don't want pitch correction. So let's just go ahead and apply that. And you can see this clip is twice as long. So if we go right here and hit play, we're going to get the 1x playback followed by the half speed playback. Okay, it was a little choppy. Let's go ahead and hit play one more time. So you can see this is obviously occurring at half the speed. And from there, if you're looking for something more fancy, you can always go to the effects library, look in open effects, and find some extra stuff to throw on your slow-mo version of the original clip. But at least for the basics of adding slow motion to your video clips, that is basically all you need to do inside of DaVinci Resolve 17. So if you were looking to do that, I hope this video has helped you out a little bit. I've been Chris, thanks for watching, and I will see you in my future video content.